Hello again. I'm wearing the same clothes because I made this video back to back, but I'm still going to release it in a week. It's just because I'm really ambitious. I do things like this. Today we're gonna, well, I don't want to say the word scale and scare you off, but today we're going to do our first scale. The first time I heard the word scale, I was like, oh, these are like something that I'm going to do in music theory class. I'm going to do do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and I immediately thought of boringness, but you're wrong if you're like me and that's the first thing you thought, because it's not boring at all. Scale is the same thing as improvisation, or we'll talk about music theory in the future. Basically, playing your first scale means that today we're going to be playing our first solo, okay? Improvisation, meaning making it up as you go along. This is what I like to do best, okay? So, this is the chord chart. You've seen this before. The one main difference that we're going to do today is that instead of this starting on the first fret, this is going to be on the fifth fret, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what you're doing by now. Work with me here. If this is the fifth, this is going to be 6, 7, and 8, right? Today I'm going to teach you the C major pentatonic scale. This is, pentatonic scale is like a blues scale, right? So if you don't think about Stevie Ray Vaughan, he loves this scale, and I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. So this is the first one I'm going to teach you. It's a 5-note scale, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The 7 notes. There's 2 do's, by the way, that means C. Pentatonic, easy, really easy to get on guitar, really simple to memorize, really easy to start making up your own solos, okay? So it looks like this. You're going to play 1 note at a time. Starting here, this is going to be 1, 4, 1, 3, 4, 4, okay? And then when you play the chord, like A minor, you're playing everything at the same time. For a scale, you're going to play every note 1 at a time, right? So this is the lowest string still. You take your first finger, 1, pop it on the 5th fret. Every 5th fret, there's going to be the first note, right? So 1, then 4, you're skipping 2 frets in between. 1, skip that, and 4. This is the first string. Okay, and the next string is like it. You start on the 5th fret, you only skip 1 fret. You're going 1 to 3 this time. So it's going to look like this. 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3. The last 2 are just like the first ones. These are all the same, and the last 2 are the same. 1, 4, and 1, 4. Okay? Play it backwards if you can. And the last one's different. With me so far? So play that for yourself a few times. Pause it, go up and down, get familiar with it. You gotta memorize this, but it's not gonna be hard, trust me. You're gonna love this. Right? C major pentatonic scale. It's also called an A minor pentatonic scale. Don't let that confuse you. If somebody asks you to play an A minor pentatonic, you know how to do it already. Okay? If you need another way to visualize this, for the most part, when I teach scales, I like to teach it with this format, but in tab world, you can do it like this. 5, so this would be 8. I don't know if you could hear whatever's going on upstairs, but I don't know what they're doing. I think they're like hunting a mouse or something like that. It sounds like machine guns. I don't know, man. Try to ignore it. This is tab word way of doing it. Play it like so. Okay, boring part is over. Once you learn a scale, and you can play in the key of C major, in the musician world, we know I can play a bunch of chords in the key of C major. All of the chords I've taught you so far, except for the D, have been in the key of C major, right? So it could bring you full circle. The key, the best song for this purpose would be the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, Other Side. A minor is in this key. F is in this key. C and G. And what I mean by in the same key is that you could play any note of this scale at any random note, and it'll sound good with those chords that are in the key of C. Okay? So here's a little example. I don't have the highest technology ever, so I've got a recording on my phone of those chords. Just two strings. See what I mean? Okay? So at the end of this lesson, I'm going to just play chords for long enough for you to practice and put it on repeat, whatever you want to do. Play your own solo. But first, I'm going to teach you 4 tricks. And these tricks are going to blow your mind. These are the best. First one's called a hammer-on. You've probably heard of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay? Hammer, like, a hammer-on is, think of your finger like a hammer, and you're picking one time, and you're making 2 sounds. Okay? So say you're doing it on this string. You're just going from 5 to 7, and you're going to go... See what I did there? I picked one time and I made 2 sounds. This is another thing that's going to take your fingers some time to get strength to do. This is a little more advanced. This is definitely 3rd week, 4th week, 5th week kind of thing. But if you've been messing around with some tab songs, you should be ready. Hammer-on is like that, and then a pull-off is the second weapon. Pull-off is the same thing, but it's the opposite. So you start high and you go low. You just lift your finger up. See what I'm doing? I'm pulling it off the string and it's making 2 sounds come out. Okay, so it's going to take you a lot of practice to get this to sound pure, but once you get it, you're going to love it. First one's a hammer-on. Second one's a pull-off. And you're going to see this in tablature all the time. A hammer-on looks like this. There's a little arrow. And then I'm going to write HM on top of it, okay? And then say I'm trying to do a pull-off. It would go, like say you're doing on this string, and you're going from 8 to 5, because it has to go from higher to low, that's why I couldn't do it in this scale. Same thing, just an arrow and a PO. Okay? So play me this, 5 to 7 on the 5th string, hammer-on. Like that. And then if you're all the way up here on 8-5, a pull-off. This one's a little harder because you're skipping 2 frets. So it's going to sound like that. Okay, and depending on how ambitious you are, you could hammer-on, pull-off is not out of the question. That's 1 pluck and 3 sounds. Right? A lot of the time you're going to see stuff like that when you're getting really bluesy with it. Right? Okay. 3rd one is called a slide. This one's self-explanatory. You're starting on 1 fret and you're sliding to another fret. So you could go either up or down. Try it like here. Like that. The thing is, you're using the same finger. Whatever finger you start on, you could use any finger you want. Sometimes I would recommend practicing it on your 3rd finger, because then, alright, say you're up here, now you can already do stuff there. So 3rd finger, little wrist. When you're writing a slide, it's a straight line on tab, and you write S, L. okay? So think of it like this. Slide, okay? The last one is my favorite one. 4, you do this all the time. It's called a bend. Okay, and when you write a bend, you're just bending that string. So you're doing it here. On the 7, here's an arrow. You like that sound? Bend is going to take the most finger strength of all the things. Definitely practice on the higher strings. Definitely play it with your 3rd finger. And put your, even though these 2 fingers don't change anything of the sound, this is going to help you reinforce the bend, okay? Because it's not, you know, especially if you're doing it on acoustic guitar, which I like practicing on acoustic guitar for the purpose of building finger strength, but if you're practicing on this, it's going to be hard to get the sound. At first it's going to sound like this. You're going to be like, come on, go higher. This finger hits the note. It's easier on the higher strings, higher pitch, and these 2 fingers are going to help it push off. So, right, with me so far? Okay, so put all these together, play any of these notes at random, mess around with it. This comes really natural to some people. Some people have to work a little bit harder for it, but either way, you're going to have fun improvising your own solos, right? So, let me give you an example of it. Like I said, if you're having trouble coming up with ideas, feel free to start with 2 strings. Maybe only use the top part. There's so much you can do with just 2 strings in this little scale. So that, all I did was use that 1 scale, right? And anytime you learn a new scale, you're going to be learning more of these weapons. You can go all up and down the fretboard and make your own solos, however you want to do it, right? Just an example, this same scale comes up here.